So, let me tell you what I'm up to. So, I decided I'm gonna do a 60-hour fast. That's 60 hours without any food. Now, you might ask, why do I want to do it? So, you'll need some context. Some of you might already know I eat ketogenic, which means 75% of my food comes from fats, about 20% comes from proteins, and only 5% of my food comes from carbohydrates. What that basically means is that I don't rely on glucose as my primary source of energy. I actually rely on ketones. Ketones are bodies that get created when your liver breaks down fats. And I've faced a few benefits. I've seen a few benefits of this approach. Most importantly, in the last few months, I've lost about 13 kilograms. I used to weigh 75 kgs. Today, I weigh about 62 kgs. But more than that, I think beyond the whole weight loss is the idea of mental clarity. I just generally feel more energetic. My mind feels more focused, and I think that's a benefit I really like. So that should give you some context of the way I eat. One of the good things with keto is that it helps me build appetite control and portion control. And I'll come back to that a bit later, which makes it easy for me to eat when I'm really hungry. So to extend that, I wanted to see what it takes for me to do a 60-hour fast. Now, the thing is, this is not the first time I'm fasting. I've fasted before. I've done 16-hour fasts. I've done 12-hour fasts, which are actually quite easy if you think of it. I've also done 30-hour fasts, 36-hour fasts, and 40-hour fasts. But this is going to be my longest yet. So why am I doing this? The reason I'm doing this is because of three things. One, I'd like to be able to distinguish between hunger and habit, and also a little bit of culture. I think there's a habit we have to eat 3 times a day, which may not necessarily be related to hunger. In my previous instances of having fasted, one of the things I've noticed is that hunger comes in waves. And that's generally down to cultural coordination, because we're used to eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you get hungry at breakfast, lunch, and dinner times. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you really need food. And if you're able to get through that period, you don't feel hungry anymore. So yeah, I'd like to be able to make that distinction of when I'm hungry and when I'm just craving food out of habit. The other thing I'd like to be able to do is somehow be able to build self-control for a time when I really need it. One of the things I've noticed again with the times I've fasted is that I generally have a lot more focus, not thinking about the next meal, not thinking about how I'm going to make my next meal or where I'm going to get it from and what I'm going to eat, and that allows me to be focused on the things I really want to do. Now, I don't expect, and I hope I never am in an emergency or in a difficult situation, but if I am, I should be able to go without food for at least a certain amount of time. Let's say there's a disaster, can I help for 40, 50 hours at a stretch without actually having to think that, oh my God, I haven't eaten. So I'd like to be able to build that ability to go for long periods without food and to be able to focus on things that I really need to do. And the third thing is a little more philosophical. So let me give you the backstory. A few years back, I said I'd like to ultimately go vegan because I felt that's an ecologically more sound choice given the amount of resources that go into meat production. That being said, I grew up as a meat eater and a fish eater and an egg eater, so it's been difficult. I've been able to give up dairy, but giving up those bits felt like it was really difficult. So I'm actually going back on that journey. That may feel like I'm being a really bad person because I can claim to be an animal lover, so why would I want to kill the same animals that I claim to love? Now, we could argue about whether veganism is really the most ethical and the most sustainable choice or not. At least in my head, there isn't an argument that ethically it does seem to be a very superior choice. Whether health-wise it is or not, I don't know. But it's probably not for me. So if it's not for me, then what is it that I can do to reduce my ecological impact? As I told you earlier in this video, I think ketogenic diets help me reduce my portion sizes, so I'm eating a lot lesser meat than I used to eat before. And I feel like I can actually get away with a lot less of food in general as compared to what I would do earlier. So if I'm able to actually get myself to eat only when I'm hungry as against eating when I'm culturally coordinated to, I have a feeling that I might actually be able to reduce my ecological impact in a more sustainable way. And when I say sustainable, I don't necessarily mean for the planet. I mean sustainable for myself. So I believe that if I do this in a way that works for me, where I can eat the foods I like, I'll probably be able to come to an equilibrium that works for me, which will work through my lifespan. So this is an attempt to kind of hack through a lifestyle that might eventually make sense for me. Okay, so coming down to the mechanics, when did I start? I started this last night at about 11 o'clock. Why was I eating at 11 o'clock? Well, I was actually trying to make some cookies, keto cookies. One of the things with keto is it's given me a new lease of life as a cook. I can't call myself a chef yet. So I end up trying things in the kitchen, and then when you try things in the kitchen, you have to taste. So yes, the last time I ate was at 11 o'clock last night, which is 21st of September. And now it's about 4:30-ish. So that's about 17 and a half hours of fasting. Am I feeling any effects? No, I actually feel as fresh as a daisy. I feel very focused, probably because my body's burning the additional stored fat, and I have a lot of ketones going straight to my brain, so that's a good plus. I actually expect to motor through the rest of the day without any problems. What have I been eating? I actually haven't eaten anything. I've just done a few cups of black tea, I think 3 cups till now. I've actually eaten a fair bit of, and I just said I didn't eat anything, but I actually have eaten a fair bit of pink salt. And the reason I've done this is because in the past I've noticed that I end up feeling a little lightheaded every time I get up, especially when I do a fast like this. So I don't want to have those effects because of lack of potassium and magnesium in my body. Pink salt tends to have a lot of those minerals that your body needs. So I've just been either having it just like that or with water. And I did take some supplements in the morning, which is fish oil, spirulina, potassium citrate. And that's it. So I'll keep checking in every few hours to give you a report of how this has gone for me. Hopefully I'll be able to make it through the entire 60 hours, which basically means that I get to eat only on 24th of September. So starting on 21st, ending on 24th. At about lunchtime, so I'll keep you posted. By the way, I'm actually here to pick up my daughter from daycare, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a really high energy evening. So if you were under the impression that no food can cause you to have low energy, let me see if I can prove you wrong by having a ball of a time with my daughter. So, alright, I'll see you around soon, I guess. In a few hours, maybe a little longer. I just got back from playing with my daughter. It was quite a boisterous 4 hours. So it's about 8:30 now. We picked her up at 4:30. We went to the park, had a lot of fun back at her place. So I still feel as good as ever. But I guess the first 24 hours are usually easy, so shouldn't be trying to pump my chest too much. This is actually the difficult part. I'm at the supermarket trying to pick up some almonds because I need to make an almond bar. I don't know if you saw that. When you're near food, you then start fantasizing about food. So I guess that's going to be the difficult part tonight. I also have to work out. I did do my outdoor workout this morning. I did a 1.25 kilometer swim. I won't necessarily call that a fasted workout because I'd eaten food at 11 o'clock last night, so really it wasn't such a big deal. But tomorrow when I do my long distance run, I think that's going to be a fasted workout. So yeah, I still have enough fuel in the tank to go for my regular workout, which isn't really a big deal. It's actually just a short, high-intensity interval training session. So that's going to be about 15 minutes, I guess. And then I've got to make myself almond flour, so I will be in the presence of food but not eat anything. I'll probably get myself some tea, and then I'll see you with that cup of tea to wrap up the night. Right? That supermarket visit wasn't very productive. I wanted to buy something with mobile money, and as it turned out, they were unable to accept mobile money. So I dropped everything that I had in my cart and didn't come back with it. Actually, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I realized I actually have some almond flour that I can live with. So there, everything happens for the right reasons. Okay, so what have I been up to since I got back home? I weighed myself. As it turns out, I've lost about 1.20 kilograms, 1.2 kgs since morning. I'm not necessarily bothered about that. I think that'll be something that'll bounce back quite easy. Yeah, energy levels pretty good. I was able to do my workout. And actually right now I just made myself some green tea, which is what I'm going to have before I go to sleep. So all in all, it looks like a pretty good day. I actually, well, zipped across the whole city this whole day. There was a lot of personal errands to run. In fact, I didn't get much office time, so I'll probably have to mark this as a half day of sorts. But yeah, that apart, was able to get 1.25 kilometers of swimming this morning. Was able to get my workout in. Didn't necessarily cramp up or anything. I could do with some sleep. Not because I'm really tired or anything, it's just because I didn't sleep well last night. I just got about 5-6 hours of sleep. So yeah, today I need to sleep like an athlete. Tomorrow I would like to run at least 5K, if not 10. I have a hard stop before which I need to get back home, which is 7:45, so let's see what I can do. Anyway, I'll be back, and that's my vlog for day one. I just got up a few minutes back, weighed myself. I was, I think 60.8 last night, and when I weighed myself this morning, I was 61.5. Surprise, surprise, I put on some weight. And that's the reason I say don't get caught up by daily fluctuations, because I didn't eat anything and I still put on weight. And why was that? Because I probably drank a lot of water, and I do drink a lot of water, and I expend a lot of water. So yeah, I don't necessarily get really fussed about these daily fluctuations. How am I feeling this morning? Fairly good, actually. Little stiff, but that apart, yeah, ready for my run. I'll tell you how that goes. Done with my run. It was a 5K. I could have done a longer run, but I need to get back home on time. By the way, say hello to my friend here. Hi, say hi. All right. So yeah, I didn't feel too much of an impact. The issue that I felt, which I'd be lying if I didn't tell you, is that there was a little bit of yeah, I mean, you know, I woke up with a little stiffness, and that stiffness continued through my run. So I wasn't able to really get acceleration as well as I would have wanted to. Anyway, I was running at a fairly moderate speed. So all in all, satisfactory. No big concerns except the stiffness. So I'll weigh myself after this, and I'll let you know what my post-workout weight was. My post-workout weigh-in, I was 60.9 kgs, which is about 0.6 kgs from my pre-workout weigh-in. 0.6 kgs down. So yeah, I don't give that much credence. As you can see, there's been a fair bit of fluctuation up and down in the last 3 weigh-ins. So I'm gonna go get myself some tea, and then we'll chat a bit more. Actually, we won't chat. I'll come back and report a bit more later in the day. It's the 39th hour of the fast. Very soon I think I'm going to be at the longest I've ever fasted. So yeah, I don't feel too bad. I'm actually not very hungry at all. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I'm not hungry at all. I just had some green tea. That was my second cup of tea in the day. Any effects? I was feeling a bit lightheaded in the middle, but a pinch of salt did the trick. I don't feel that way anymore. But I am feeling a little bit of stiffness in my muscles, and this could be because I might be running low on muscle glycogen. So I don't know what to do with that. I have taken magnesium tablets so that if there's any deficiency of magnesium, hopefully that can get me sorted. All in all, fairly high energy. I mean, it's interesting how much you can get done when you're not looking for your next meal. So I feel like I just have so much time in my life. Today's day has been incredibly relaxed because I have time, but I don't have things to do in that time. I played pretty much all morning with my daughter, so that was fun. We went on a nature walk, we picked flowers, and yeah, as you know, I did my morning run. So it's been good. I'll probably get some sleep in the afternoon and rest up, and then in the evening, it's going to be back for a date with my daughter. Cool. So I'll see you around maybe sometime in the evening. So it's evening now. It's about 5 o'clock, which basically means it's how many hours? 19 and 24. So that's 43 hours of fasting, which is my longest fast yet. So yay. I actually don't feel any of the muscle cramps anymore. Yay! So I'm actually quite happy. Not hungry still, surprisingly. Or maybe unsurprisingly. And to think of it, I only have the night to go, and then, I can do an early lunch of sorts tomorrow. So, all in all, progressing quite well. I think I'm almost ready to stick my neck out and say this has been a grand success of, an experiment. So let's see. I will come back to you at the end of the day and tell you how it's been, what's my intake been till now. Just a couple of cups of green tea, and that's pretty much it, and a few supplements. So I'll take my second round of supplements in the evening, but I might do a coffee or something like that, nothing else. And now I'm off to see my daughter. So it's pretty much the end of the day. Actually, I didn't do any more tea. I just did my regular supplements and added a little bit of potassium and magnesium to that. Probably did a couple of times of salt. So how's the day been? Actually, it's been alright. Would I say this is the day I prefer? Of course not, because I really love my food. There's like a lot of good food inside the fridge, which I'm not touching because I've resolved not to. And it's literally been resisting the temptation and not so much really fighting the hunger, because I feel like I don't actually have that hunger pang, the kind of thing which happens to you when your stomach growls, when you're really, really yearning for food. I'm not having any of that. I just feel like, I wouldn't mind eating some good food. At this point, I'm kind of looking forward to the 60-hour mark. I'm very close to 48, which means it's not too far away. The other thing is, when I do eat, I've got to eat something that's easy to digest, something that's nutrient dense. So I'll figure out what that is. I've got a couple of recipes in mind, so I might just try those out, or I'll just pick some leftovers from the fridge and see what I can do with that. But my weight pretty much constant through the day. We'll see again tomorrow, and we'll do a weigh-in at the end of the whole exercise. I have been drinking a lot of water. I think I've had like 5 liters of water, and that's just because I'm thirsty. I'm really, really thirsty. So I don't know whether that's a result of fasting or whether it's me overcompensating. I have no idea. And probably that also is just keeping my weight constant. But I don't mind. I'm not doing this for weight loss. I'm doing this for completely different reasons. So I did my workout, by the way. And one thing to remember and probably to point out to you is that I have noticed a few balance issues. So most of my workouts are, apart from the stuff that I do outside,
which is running and swimming, most of my workouts are body weight. And body weight then means that you've got to have some amount of balance, and you need to be able to hold your own body weight either on your arms or in your legs or in both. Um, and I found that my balance wasn't quite right today. So uh, whether I can attribute that to the fast or not, I don't know, but that's what it was. So that's just some information, and I think I'm ready to call it a night. So I'll see you tomorrow, and then probably at the end when I break the fast. Bye.
The seventh hour of the fast, I've done reasonably well in my opinion. I think this morning was pretty good. I felt quite fresh. I slept a little bit because I slept at about 11 o'clock and decided, yeah, I needed to sleep till about 7:15 to get 8 hours of good sleep. So I prioritized that. I weighed myself. I'm 60.1 kgs, which is about very close to 2 kgs drop in a couple of days. Now, again, how much of this is down to water weight or not, I don't know. I have been drinking a lot of water, so you can't really be sure. If it's something I told myself when I started this whole journey is the least I'd like to go down to is 59, which is what I used to be when I was just about stepping into adulthood. So yeah, let's see. I'm going to break my fast in a few hours. I don't think I'll be able to break it exactly at the 60-hour mark. It'll probably be later, but I'll keep you posted. The first hour, and I'm well over my 60-hour mark. We just came back from a nature walk. As you can see, that's my daughter right there. Say hi. Hi. And yeah, I think that's been a grand success. I've got to go back home and make some lunch, but I'll come back to what I'm eating. I think I'm just going to be doing some leftovers. I'm actually not going to go by the book. They say you should be eating really nutrient dense, easy to digest items. I don't think I have any of that in the fridge. I haven't prepared very well. So I will go and eat something that's easy to make, and I'll come back when I actually break my fast. I've made myself some lunch, if you can see there. Doesn't look like much. It's basically a bunch of leftovers coated with cheese, a few eggs dropped on top of it, 2 eggs dropped on top of it, just to give me some of those easily digestible elements. 62 hours actually at this point, so I've aced what I started out to do, and I'm quite happy about it actually. Will I do this again? Probably I will. I actually don't feel as bad as I thought I would at the end of 60 hours, so I want to see if I can push myself for longer. I could have actually pushed myself for longer on this fast as well, but I chose not to do it because I've got a personal commitment this evening, and I don't want to be the idiot who refuses to eat because he's on some strange fast. So I'll come back with what I learned out of this experience later. But this is the end of this vlog. Thank you if you watched this far. I know it's going to end up being a really, really long video, but I hope you can take away something from my experience. And now I think I can dig in to a well-deserved meal.